Hello, children. Welcome to study time. When study time is fun time, when we learn about mass media, isn't it? So today we are going to learn something interesting like this. I, Anitha Kadam from Hindustan Antibiotics School, Pimpri, managed by Deccan Education Society, is here to take up history lesson named Mass Media and History. In the last lesson, we have seen about mass media. We have seen about newspapers, journals, magazines, and a bit of it we have seen about digital or Zoom. So we had seen about the news in the mobile phone or in your computer. But there are various other ways, like many web news portals, social media, web channels, YouTube. This all are present in today's life. But if you see back, we had known the mass media after the newspapers and printing material. What started was radio, Akashvani. Yes, we can hear radio on your mobile phone too. That's such a small one. But those days we had such huge radios. And those radios, the sound of the beginning of the radios used to be heard from every house in the early mornings. Would you want to see how it sounded? Here we go. So this is how every day, everybody's morning would start with such a soothing sound of this radio being started. So there was definitely time for the radio to start and stop. It was not this 24-hour program like us. But I'll show you about today's generation's radio too. Are you ready with me?
बजाते रहो बजाते रहो फूल भरा है अंदर इतना के आइस एज के भी एरा में ना होगा स्वैग में गुण मेरे इतने कमाल के जितना कमाल एलोवेरा में ना होगा
Hey, wasn't that fun? Can you see the difference between the sound that was coming from the radio? Yes, let's learn something more about this particular mass media. We have already seen about electronic and digital journalism, that they were the ultra-modern periodical forms, part of the electronic digital journalism. And then we have seen now about radio. Indian Broadcasting Company, a private radio company, was the first one to broadcast daily programs. Later, the same company was taken over by the British government and named as Indian State Broadcasting Service, ISBS. And then 8 June 1936, it was named as All India Radio, and the short form of it, AIR. It was named as Akashvani on the suggestion. Akashvani means the sound, the voice coming from the sky itself. Okay, it was on the suggestion of the famous poet Pandit Narendra Sharma. So All India Radio became the integral part of Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, and it broadcasted governmental programs and schemes. So as we have seen that it was started known as All India Radio was known as Akashvani, and then later it started having various entertainment, awareness, creating and literary program. It also broadcast special programs for women, farmers, workers, youth, etc. So earlier, these were the different versions of radio. And the Vivid Bharati program was broadcasted in 24 regional language as well, 146 dialects of Indian language. So it reaches to maximum people. Lately, various news channels like Radio Mirchi are now providing radio services. Now, earlier times, when such kind of plague was there, like today, how we are conducting the education, the classes, the school process through this television, it was conducted through radio. Radio had the job of delivering the topic, delivering the lectures, delivering the subject matter to the students through radio. Wasn't it interesting? So see this. Now this is a new next way of mass media, and this was known as television. Most of the television in those days looked like this. Television, the Delhi Doordarshan Center, was inaugurated by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first Indian president. Doordarshan's Mumbai Center began to telecast its programs on 1st May 1972. So color television was introduced on 15th August 1982. So before that it was black and white television. In 1991, the Indian government granted permission for private national and international channels to telecast in India. Thus, it became possible for Indians to watch the international events on television. So, due to this television, isn't it amazing to sit in our drawing room and watch the Wimbledon match or watch the IPL match which has been placed or played in a faraway place? Are we not enjoying? How is it possible? That is all through satellites. The satellites have the coverage from the place and then it is redirected to us. And that is how we can have a direct telecast. Okay, so amazing things about television we'll get to know in this lesson. So these were how the television looked like. Those were huge in 1930s, 40, 1950, 1960s, 70s. Can you see the different versions of television? And this is what you see. In today's houses, every household will have a television set like this. But isn't it amazing to see how it has evolved? What was the different structure like? How big and huge they were? And how important was it? We need to have mass media to facilitate free flow of information. Now, when we talk about television, we also know that what all things that it covers. We have seen that in 1991 onwards, many channels came, right? But what are the important things that is there on television? Need to know. What all things do you watch? We'll get back to it. First, see, why do we need mass media? We need mass media for free flow of information, okay? And to all strata of society. The flow should be free. It should reach maximum people. And readers are also ensured the platform to voice their opinion. So is it only one way? No. Here you can, if you have something to say, that is also possible. So newspapers also help in making the democracy stronger, that we have seen, right? Now, television is an audio-visual medium. Means what? You can see as well as hear. And therefore, it is becoming more effective. See, now if you had been taking up this lesson in your school, you would only listen and only through your teacher with some teaching aid. But now you are watching it, you are understanding, you are seeing it, you are viewing it, you are listening to it. So it is known as audio visual medium. It is possible for this medium to cross the inherent limitations of newspaper. Newspaper, we cannot hear. And now what you could call it is PDF. If you have a PDF file, you can hear also. But only newspaper you cannot hear. You can only see or read. In radio, you can hear, but you cannot see. So television has all these benefits. You can see as well as hear. And the actual visuals of the event to people. So we have already seen that what all things are possible through mass media. And when I'm talking about television, in television, what all things that it covers. Let us know, though you may be seeing it, you may not be. But we can see, yes, we can see news in various languages. We can see news for hearing impaired. If you are unable to hear, there are news programs for them too with the sign language. Then we can see sports, different sports at different channels, right? Different events covered. Then there are entertainment, but only entertainment is not there. Then there are serials, then there are films, then there are different old and new, then there are songs, then what else? Then there is a channel called history, there's a channel called National Geography, there's a channel for cooking, there's a special channel for youth, there's a special channel for religious programs, then definitely channels for children, channels for elders, then those government announcement, educational channels. Aren't we connected through this educational channel? So you need to know all those things that is present in your television, because some people only have access only to few of them. What is the critical understanding of information received through mass media? The problem arises that we receive some information and what we do. Yes, I'm talking about your mobile phones. On the WhatsApp, you receive some message. And what you do? You are in a hurry to forward it. You will send it to many people. And then what happens? They also in return send it to many. And it reaches to the multiple people. But what? Have you ever checked whether it is right? Whether whatever news that you have received or you have sent, is it authentic? Is it correct? Is it useful? Or is it creating some problem in the society? Children, it's a time that to stop this kind of cyber crime. To send some unwanted message is a crime today. So how to know whether this is unwanted, whether it is correct? So you have to check. Any information received through mass media needs to be reviewed critically. Then only you have to represent, understand the truth. Whatever you see, go Google it, find it out, find some other sources. If you have not sure about it, don't spread it. We have seen in this pandemic time also that how people were punished. The WhatsApp groups were punished for sending some news which is not correct or not useful for the society, and they were punished. Clear? So we have to be very careful. It's a free flow. That doesn't mean you have to flow with the whatever is coming, because you are not only a mediator, you are a person with your brain. Kindly make use of it, understand it, analyze it, and then do the needful. Are you understanding what I want to say? So there was a famous event of unauthentic information appearing in print in Germany. unauthentic. Okay, means it is not verified. Stern, a German weekly magazine, had purchased a number of so-called handwritten diaries of none other than Adolf Hitler. They had his handwriting and his diaries, and they started publishing them. It sold to various publication companies. The diaries were verified for their authenticity, whether he has written it or somebody has. And subsequently, the news appeared in the print. However, later those diaries were proved to be forged. That means somebody have, intentionally written something which was not written by Adolf Hitler. Okay, some mismanagement was done. Some intentionally doing something wrong was introduced there. And so it becomes apparent. You have to take this an example, and you have to be very, very careful about the information published by the media. Mass media and professional opportunities. So, newspapers have to fulfill the task of providing fresh news to its readers. Suppose if the newspaper is there with some news which has happened last year, not exactly, but some days before, nobody would be interested in reading. Why do they buy a newspaper? To know the fresh news. But who has to give the news? So there should be people, okay, there should be the people bringing the news, there should be people writing, editing, publishing, and for all this, people are required. Are you understanding? So it is necessary to unfold the background of the event in the news. Suppose if something has happened, fine, but why it happened, how it happened, what is the background of it? So a news reporter has to collect all this information. Newspapers print columns about historical information appearing under headings such as 50 years ago. As I told you, what are the columns what are the things in the newspaper? We see news, we see local news, we see our state news, then national news, international news. Then there is column for editorial. Then there is column for people to write letters and show their views. Clear? Then there is column for sports, entertainment. Then what else? So, of course, advertisement. So, along with all this, then there is also some columns like 50 years ago or say 100 years ago. That means 50 years ago, what had happened on today's day, or 100 years ago, what had happened. So nobody was alive at that time, nobody knows it or recollects it, right? So you can read what has happened in that newspaper, important things, and therefore it becomes an historical document or a written history. So in 2014, that was 100 years, marked of 100 years. For what? For World War I commencement. That is beginning of the World War I. In 2017, there was 75 years completed for the announcement of Quit India movement. So all such occasion, newspaper highlights, even through various articles, editorials, columns, or what happened in history on these days. So newspapers occasionally publish supplements to regular edition or special issues. Now apart from the main newspaper, which can be for 4, 8, 16, any number of pages depending upon the advertisements, right? Most of nowadays, even the first page is full of advertisement. I mean, the first page has to carry the most important news. But if you open, you see the advertisement. Gone are the days, right? But there are also supplements. Means There are some supplements which is coming on Saturday, some supplements which is coming only on Sundays, okay, for the special occasion. Then there are some supplements for students which might come in one of the days. Then there are some supplements for women. Then there are some supplements for those who are searching for employment, or those who want to have extra higher studies. Clear? Other than that also, suppose if there is a newspaper, then that will also have some supplements which will differ from place to place. Okay, that means what? If there is a newspaper in Pune, it will have Pune supplement. In Mumbai, it will have Mumbai supplement. In Kolhapur, it will have Kolhapur supplement. In Pimpri Chinchwad, it will have Pimpri Chinchwad supplement. That means what? In that particular supplement, they will cover most of the thing that has happened in that particular local area. Clear? Because that will not be circulated to all the people. Are you understanding? The national newspaper. So national newspaper, the main newspaper will be same, but the supplements, okay, will differ. So there will be a different supplement for Chennai. There will be a different supplement for Delhi, Bangalore. Clear? So supplements also a part of the newspaper, regular edition or the special issues. So here you will see the two important newspapers that I have brought for you. Here, the Sunday Morning Herald. It talks about men on moon. Can you imagine? In the year 1969, when this US astronauts went on moon, and this news, people were not knowing about it. And this news was published and everybody was shocked to see it. Isn't it amazing? Had newspaper not been there, nobody would have known, unless and until the few people in US. But because of this publication, everybody, the whole world came to know about it. And here, yet another important news, and that was 11th November 1918. One important announcement came, and that said, World War is over. Okay? The war, which was for 4 years, it got over on 11th November 1918. Didn't became a history document itself. In which newspaper is it appeared? Almost all the newspapers. Here I've got a cutting of the Daily Telegram, which was published in California. And that was a Monday, and it's talked about afternoon, because the newspaper, it's an important news. It has to be told, clear, and all the details that is appearing here. So, as a tribute to Bal Gangadhar Tilak, his death anniversary, that is 1st August 1920. So, this was his 100th death anniversary, who talked and gave us the most important slogans like, Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. So here you can get to know about him on that particular day under the title 50 years and 100 years from now. Yeah, we are going to talk about mass media and professional opportunities. So Akashvani invites historians as experts for discussion on various occasions such as anniversaries of birth or death of national leaders. So experts are called and they give an interview, they talk and they give more information of the anniversaries of historical events. Okay, so not only in Akashvani, not only in radio, but even Doordarshan and other television channels help in creating interest in history among people through their historical shows and serials. I'm sure you also must have watched few historical serials and you got to know about the history. There were so many of them which was going around. Okay, and more would be coming. If you want to know the history, watch them. Besides the serials about ancient monuments, forts, many informations are given. Histories of empires and also the history of culinary arts, and watched by large number of people with great interest. So all these people are nothing but job prospects. Okay, all these experts who and how to deal, how to bring them, how to edit, how to shoot, how to cover, how to make it a news, how to make it a serial. So many professionals are needed, and they are all getting the job opportunities. And here is all that opportunity that you can think of making a career in mass media. You can think of event manager, you can think of copy editor, media specialist, anchor, reporter, PR officer, social media expert. Now there's something called blogger. You can write about them, radio jockey, journalist, photographer, content writer, director, producer, videographer, screenwriter, and many more. Here we're going to see about Bharat Ek Coach. This was a serial based on the book called The Discovery of India, written by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Based on that book, a serial was produced. So it was telecasted in Doordarshan, and because it talked about all the history of India, right from it, though it was written by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, but it was written the history from the olden times itself. And this serial was directed by Shyam Benegal, and it presented the history of India from ancient to modern period, throwing light of social, cultural, and political history of respective periods. So it talked about Harappan civilization, Vedic history, Ramayana, Mahabharata, till Shivaji Maharaj, Mughal emperors, many more things were covered in this. Isn't it interesting? So today we have seen electronical and digital journalism. We have seen about radio, television, need of mass media, and critical understanding of information received through mass media. And lastly, but not the least, we have seen mass media and professional opportunities. Hey students, wasn't it interesting to know about the same thing that you are interested in? Yes, of course, mass media. I enjoyed it thoroughly, bringing this topic to you, and I'm sure you too must have. Okay, goodbye.